That's entertainment. You know, when you're a great fighter, a great entertainer in general, you want the person to say, when do I see that person again? When's he gonna play again? When's he gonna fight again? You know, you gotta be able, if you can't put in seats, you're gonna get fired. You know.
40 fight, and I have Crawford winning this fight. Crawford's gonna win this fight doing something that nobody's done to Canelo.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna say. And it didn't take me going to camp to know this.
Okay.
Weight gain. So Israel Majimov says that if Terence Crawford bulks up, that's going to be the biggest mistake he can possibly make. And that's going to hinder him from being victorious against Saul Canelo.
Mike Tyson reflected on his training sessions with Terence Crawford, emphasizing the need to stay calm ahead of a massive showdown with Canelo Alvarez. He explained that while the spotlight brings immense pressure, the true battle is fought in the mind. If Crawford can control his emotions and avoid being overwhelmed, Tyson believes he has the ability to perform at his peak and make victory look effortless. Amir Khan, who once shared the ring with Canelo, also weighed in on the potential clash.
You know, everybody think pressure's like getting on stage. No, pressure's the thought of being hit. And that's how they fall. The thought is going, I'm not hitting that hard, but they think I am.
Right. So
it's all psychological.
Are you, when you're walking to the ring, are you noticing anything, or are you so locked in?
I see everything moving. Every person, every girl. I see everything.
Dude, your walk-ins would last longer than the fights sometimes.
Do anyone have a napkin on my towels? Because I'm sweating like a pit with one hole up here.
You're sweating.
We will get you one.
You're sweating.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're sweating like Charles Barkley at a spelling bee.
Yeah, I'm going to be sweating pretty hard there, too.
Exactly. So, Mike, we all know you hit hard. Who was the first person that when they hit you, you was like, oh, okay, this guy hits pretty hard?
Those unmatched experience and greatness, but pointed out that Crawford's punching power and recent move up in weight make him more dangerous than ever. Khan stressed that this fight is not a one-sided affair, as both men possess elite skill sets capable of changing the outcome with a single moment. For him, it represents more than just another bout. It's a collision between two extraordinary talents. Still, analysts caution that Crawford's age could become a decisive factor. By the time this fight takes shape, he could be nearing 38, and with age comes the inevitable decline in speed and physical sharpness. While Canelo has consistently proven his dominance at higher weight classes, Crawford's adaptability and hunger to rise to new challenges keep the fight unpredictable. Although Terence Crawford moved up to 154 pounds for his fight with Israel Madrimov, many remain unconvinced that
Can Crawford do the same? Coming up from 54 and 47, can he, or will that, throw off the catch and shoot? I was going to catch and shoot.
Make me think. I'm not catching and shooting.
We're catching and resetting and getting out of this range for a minute or two.
My fight with Arrow, I came back to the corner. I had a look on my face, I guess. And my dad said, "What's wrong?" I said, "Nothing." Like, classic Sean, nothing. He said, "Sean, tell me what's wrong." I said, my legs are kind of tight. He said, "Your legs kind of tight." He looked back, looked behind him. He would always do this and look back at the other corner. I don't know why. He looked back at them.
It was a habit, probably.
He said, "All right, we're not gonna use our legs so much this round." And I was thinking to myself, like, I need these legs.
I'm not trying to wear these shots.
Yeah. So to your point, when there's a feeling, when
the nervous system goes out,
where does that adjustment take place? Do you trust the adjustment? Do you implement it? So that next round I did settle down a little more. I was
lost the round.
Whatever. Hell up.
I don't know where around is. Chill out.
He don't even know where around is. Pour this water on you. So we got some time until this fight. So we ain't gotta pour it all out at one time. We'll work our way up to this one.
Try to get on big guests to lead up to the fight.
Expect some more very, very big guests, and expect some very, very big things from the Puerto Rico podcast. The week of Crawford versus Canelo versus Crawford takes place here. What is that? September 6th?
13th. I was just gonna say, I've been critical of the fight because I felt like it serves as a
fully prepared to challenge someone as seasoned at higher weight classes as Canelo Alvarez. In boxing, age is more than just a number. It directly impacts speed, reflexes, and recovery, all of which are vital when facing a relentless opponent. While Crawford's skills remain razor-sharp, analysts question whether his body can still respond with the same intensity as before. For many, this potential clash represents the biggest test of his career, not only technically, but physically and mentally. Given the stakes and the caliber of his opponent, Crawford and his team, however, have emphasized their readiness. They repeatedly highlight that they studied Canelo carefully, focusing on avoiding the same mistakes Jermell Charlo made in his lopsided loss. Crawford insists he is no Charlo, pointing to his superior discipline, ring IQ, and unique style.
December 13th, Las Vegas, Nevada, Allegiant Stadium, when he takes on another first ballot Hall of Famer, 4-division world champion, 2-time undisputed world champion, and reigning undisputed super middleweight world champion, Mexican superstar boxer Saul Canelo Alvarez, who is 63 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 wins by way of knockout. Terence Crawford had one fight at 154. That was against Israel Majimov, the WBA junior middleweight world champion, right? And since then, Terence Crawford has moved up now to 168 to challenge Canelo Alvarez, okay? And so prior to that, he spent 5 years at what? Welterweight. So the concern that people have for Terence Crawford, rightfully so, is that Terence Crawford will be 38 years of age 2 weeks after the fight. So he's 37, okay? Terence Crawford has one fight at 154. Prior to that, Terence Crawford has been competing, okay, since 2018 for the last 7 years at 147. Since June of 2018, he's been fighting at 147. His only fight outside of that division in the last 5 to 6 years was his fight against Israel Majimov at 154, which he won, unanimous decision. I thought he handily won, but people thought that he struggled. Israel Majimov is now 10 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 7 wins by way of knockout because he lost his last fight to Mexican superstar, WBC junior middleweight interim champion.
Revolve around movement, precision, and smart pacing rather than brute force, aiming to frustrate Canelo with defense and punish him with counters. Training camp had been grueling, featuring intense conditioning and sparring sessions designed to replicate Canelo's power and pressure. Still, concerns linger about Crawford's size at this new weight. As fighters climb divisions, they often sacrifice speed and agility, and recent photos showing him looking bulkier have fueled debate. Analysts caution that images can be misleading due to angles and lighting, but the underlying question remains, can Crawford maintain his trademark sharpness while carrying the extra weight? That while
Crawford just revealed that they're currently working on making sure that the Omaha native doesn't end up like Jermell Charlo this coming September 13th when he faces Canelo Alvarez. Now this report comes from Boxing Scene, wherein it was just revealed by somebody from Crawford's camp that Terence Crawford is, quote, wary of repeating the mistake that former 154-pound champion Jermell Charlo made to a new weight limit without consideration of other factors. Boxing Scene further elaborated by saying that Crawford wants to retain his ability to fight with fluidity, maximizing the effectiveness of his power punches from both hands and ability to fight from a southpaw stance. With that said, Crawford's camp is now on full lockdown from the media or any sort of distraction up until fight week. Now, it's definitely worth considering that while
at his age and with the added weight, the question remains, can Terence Crawford retain the speed and sharpness that have long defined his style? Muscle may bring extra power, but it often comes at the cost of endurance and flexibility. Veteran trainer Abel Sanchez is highly skeptical, even dismissive, of Crawford's chances against Canelo Alvarez. Sanchez likened the potential bout to more of a sparring session than a true contest, insisting that Crawford is simply too small to handle Canelo's size, strength, and experience at higher divisions. His stance echoes a widespread belief that while Crawford...
I mean, the more you age and the more weight you gain, of course you're going to be slower. Now, that doesn't mean that he's going to be... that he won't be an elite fighter anymore. No, of course not. When you talk about special fighters like Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, they can handle themselves against anyone on any given night in the worst circumstances possible. That is a fact, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get back into the discussion when it comes to Terence Crawford carrying the 168 division
when it comes to the 168 pound weight. So if you actually think about it, Terence Crawford, how is the man looking right now? I know, yes, I know that we have seen the new pictures of Crawford with him looking absolutely massive, but I actually talked about this in one of my previous videos, ladies and gentlemen, which you can go back and check out. Terence Crawford, don't let these pictures fool you, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let these pictures fool you. Yes, of course Terence Crawford gained weight, but the pictures make it seem like Terence Crawford looks like a heavyweight. Let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, the lighting and the pump and the angle, everything plays a part in how you look in pictures. You know what I mean? Like, this is a fact, ladies and gentlemen. I can show you 2 pictures of me taken within 24 hours, and in one picture, my physique looks completely different than the other picture. One picture I can take after having a unbelievable workout, with a nice sweat on, with a nice pump, with some nice lighting, and a nice angle. I would look completely different than when I look right now, or getting out of bed.
Fighter, greatness alone cannot overcome the physical realities of boxing. Not everyone agrees. Former champion Chris Algieri, for instance, takes issue with the hype surrounding the matchup. While promoters and fans have branded it one of the biggest fights in boxing history, Algieri pushes back, saying that while it is an exciting clash, it falls short of the all-time great matchups where both fighters were in their prime and evenly matched. In his view, the public may be overestimating the drama, given that Crawford is stepping into unfamiliar territory against a proven champion who thrives in higher division.
Sparring session for Saul Canelo Alvarez. Coach Abel Sanchez dismissed Crawford's chance against Canelo, and it's really because of the weight gain. Renowned Mexican trainer Abel Sanchez has reignited the hype surrounding Canelo Crawford, scheduled September 13th, Las Vegas. Speaking to the ring, Gennady Golovkin, trainer, says, quote, Crawford is a great fighter, but that's why weight divisions exist. Canelo has proven that when he moves up, he faces and beats the best in each category. Neither Bivol could hurt him, nor could my fighter in 2 fights. And he's talking about Golovkin. And even though Canelo and Golovkin fought 3 times, Abel did not train him for the 3rd fight. It was Jonathan Banks. So that's why he said in the 2 fights that he's familiar with, he's saying that Golovkin never really hurt Canelo. The weight jump, the big disadvantage. Crawford, undefeated record. He's 41-0, 31 knockouts. Agreed to move up to 168, blah, blah, blah. And he says, quote, if Crawford had taken 3 or 4 years to gain strength and mass properly, he would have a better chance. But doing it in just over a year is too risky. He'll be slower, and Canelo will dictate the pace. Now, this is a recent picture of Crawford, who definitely looks in shape. And, you know, that's what we come to expect from a
boxing analyst Shobiz Adult adds another perspective, pointing to the stark contrast in the quality of opposition both fighters have faced. He argues that none of Crawford's past opponents could realistically compete with the caliber of fighters Canelo has consistently battled. Alvarez has taken on, and often beaten, champions across multiple weight classes. While Crawford's undefeated record is impressive, his resume lacks names of the same stature. That said, Canelo is not without criticism. Some argue that he has strategically avoided the most dangerous challenges, opting instead for opponents perceived as less threatening.
Fight, this is the best matchup that could be made. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's certainly not. Definitely not. Definitely not the best fight that can be made right now. I can think of a dozen fights that I would rather see. And a lot of them include Inoue against a bunch of different guys that I would rather see over this fight. But casual fans don't care that much about 122-pound guys who fight across the world in Japan. They care about big names and characters. But at the end of the day, when you look at this on paper, Crawford's 38, Canelo's 35. Neither looked very impressive in their last fight. They're still 3 weight classes apart. That has not changed, because, you know, and Crawford hasn't fought in a year plus. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of poo-pooing of this on paper. So I'm glad somebody says it. So thank
This
you.
guy, he
our
didn't say his
listener.
name. Yeah,
I
he
like
was-
this guy. He came out there and just said his piece and
Yeah.
left.
That's the type of guy that definitely calls in the WFAN here in New York. It's like, we need Boone fired. The Yankees suck. I don't look forward to anything. But,
What's up with that bullpen?
Yeah,
All right, I'm out of
exactly.
here.
I'm out. I'll hang up and listen. But yes, like you said, there are a bunch of fights you'd rather see. There are a bunch of fights I'd rather see both these guys in rather than the one we're getting. Like I'd rather see.
That's a great way to put it too.
Yeah, Boots versus Crawford. I'd rather see Canelo versus Benavidez, Canelo versus Bivol, Canelo versus anyone at 168 of these top five there.
What about Virgil and Crawford? I like that fight. That got mentioned at one point.
Absolutely. I mean,
Great
but
fight.
this is how boxing works. We'll all be excited on September 13th because it is a big event. We've talked about this numerous times on the show. We need big events, at least one or two of them a year to stay relevant as a sport. It's on Netflix. We're all going to be excited that week heading into it. Maybe even that guy.
Hey, Dan and Chris. Love the show. This is Nero calling from Hollywood. I was wondering, with so many people taking Bud Crawford to win, I think at one point it felt like a hot take, and now it's becoming sort of a standard take. I hope this isn't too much of an abstract question, but can you think of another time where someone chose what seemed to be a hot take and then become the regular take? And what was the result of that fight?